All right, well, we're back, wine drinking people. Today is still Thursday, April 14th, and as I mentioned, we had a lot of drinking yesterday in the store, so we'll get right to the folks from Constellation that stopped in with some of Bob's wines. We just officially call Robert Mondavi Winery Bob Red and Bob White, or we used to, and those were our by the glass wines at Cafe Max years ago. But, things have changed at Robert Mondavi Winery. It's now owned by a large corporation, Constellation Brands, and I don't know, the wines seem to have gotten, I don't know, better, but more commercial. Tim Mondavi was, really kind of old world, and I don't know, he made some enemies of the reviewers for some reason. Robert Parker didn't like him, James Laub didn't like him, or you could tell by the scores, at least they didn't like his wines, but usually that translates back to the person somewhat, I think. People like Robert Parker, James Suckling can be wooed by personalities. It didn't seem like Tim really was into doing that, but they're making some great wines still under the Robert Mondavi moniker, and, some not so great wines. The first couple wines here are really underwhelmed, with the Fumé Blanc, which had some nice melon and green fig fruit on the nose, ripened forward, a touch of that quince and pink grapefruit, also citrus, fresh and fruity style, just, short and pleasant finish. Just not a lot going on there, especially for the regular price of $26.25. Well, we have a special offering price of $14.75. That's a little more like it. And for this month and maybe next month, they are wheeling and dealing on this Napa line from Robert Mondavi, like the Chardonnay, also regularly $26.25. $14.75. And this had some nice forward fruit, a really juicy, fruity style with a whiff of a little bit of maybe an oak spice in there and vanilla, but light and fruity Chardonnay, and just a kiss of that oak in the finish. Again, fairly simple. A good wine, but $15.75, much better than the $26, of course. All right, the Pinot Noir Carneros. Also, nice, a hint of spice, some dried tobacco, dark cherry fruit, and some dried floral nuance. Smooth and velvety on the tongue. One of the things I love about Pinot Noir, the texture, some light berry fruits. Another crowd pleaser style, but not all that complex. And at $36, even at $19.80, maybe not the greatest buy I've had in Pinot Noir this year from California. The Merlot was one of the stars of the show. And, Merlot, if you look at our Merlot section in the store, we don't have a big Merlot section because not a lot to talk about, really. I mean, a lot of the Merlot's just not really that interesting from California. But this wine had some lovely dark plum fruit, dark cherry on the nose, some fine herbs, dark cocoa spice, some fresh earth there. A nice complexity here for, $16.28, our special price on this wine here, regularly $27. All right, well, nice balance also, and nice freshness on the finish. A very good bottle of Merlot, like I said, especially at $26 and change. All right, the Napa Cab. Well, those of you that have been, following this show know that the '07 Mondavi Napa, we have just been rocking and rolling with. This is a great little wine. Got 90 points from Robert Parker. Lovely cigar box, dark cocoa, fresh plowed earth, toasty oak spice notes, currants, and dark chocolate. A fair amount of complexity here. The price has gone up a little bit. It was at $16.90, which we still have a few cases left at that price. But it'll be $18 and change when we rebuy it. But still, one of the best values that we have in a Napa Valley Cabernet on the shelf. Well, the Oakville was next, and the Oakville, always one of my favorite wines from Mondavi. Some of the fruit from Tokalan goes into both of these wines. Oakville, to me, is the Pinot Noir appellation for Cabernet Napa. The wines are the most forward and seductive of all the cabs. This lovely red currant and dark berry fruit showing on the nose with notes of cocoa, toasty oak spice, some sweet herbs. Really nice and refined and elegant on the palate. Round tannins, ripe, and some of that lovely toasty oak nuance showing through on the finish. All the right stuff. Just needs a bit of time to come together. Some dry tannin showing up on the finish. This '07 vintage, an outstanding one for Napa Cab. Hey, we didn't have the reserve cab, but we've got it in the store. And check out our offering coming up tomorrow or the next day. We have got a 10-year vertical of reserve Cabernet going back to 1974. We're going to be showing. That's right, 1974, a legendary vintage for Napa Valley. All right, well, up next, we've got a good friend from Krupp Brothers Stagecoach Vineyard in to show us some new release from that property.